Guys, so the next project is actually going to be a big one. I was debating whether or not to do it on the mini truck, but I'm gonna go and try to do a wide body or fender flares out of fiberglass. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use I kind of done this kind of thing before with I did a front spoiler for a car, but I used foam, and then I sanded down or sculpted the foam, and then I fiberglassed over that. The lessons I learned from that were that it's very difficult to make the right side and the left side exactly the same. There's some tricks you could do, like templates and stuff like that. But when you're doing fenders, that's really tricky because it's two separate parts and they're mirror images of each other, whereas the front lip spoiler at least was the same part, so you could kind of like use your line of sight to judge things. So in any case, that's the next project. It's probably going to be a few episodes to get that done, just because of all the curing process that it's going to come along with that, and the trimming and sanding and all that. But at least winter's coming, and I'm thinking that's something that I could do most of the time indoors. So that's why I decided to take that on now. Let's get to it and get started. All right, guys. So what I'm gonna be using, or the method I'm gonna be using to make these fiberglass parts, is I'm basically gonna build a wood buck, I think they call it. But I'm not actually going to make it out of wood. I'm going to make it out of cardboard. So this is corrugated. This is one of the front fenders. This is actually the left side. And basically all it is I used a hot melt gun, or you could also use spray mount, but or spray glue. But I basically cut multiple layers of cardboard and then just glued and stacked them. Right, so this is you could see I have about 4 layers for the first section here, and then 2 for the next section, 2 for the next, 2 for the next, 2 for the next. And basically what that does is it allows you to kind of give you that sculpted shape if you don't want just a simple box fender. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put clear tape over these. I already did one of the rear fenders here, so this is just clear packing tape, and what that does is it basically, these steps now become an angle. Now you might still have a little bit of a stepping that you could see once the piece is done, but you know, that's something you could contour later with sanding and whatnot. So but that's basically the method I'm using. I'm basically just laminating cardboard to create the layers I want. And again, if you could do this out of wood too. You could buy cheap plywood, and if you have a router or just a simple saw, you could a jigsaw, you could make something like this as well. And you could remember the other side is just the same pieces. You just stack them this way instead of this way. So this is the other piece here. This is gonna go on the cab right behind the door, so basically it'll fit like that. So when you swing the door, this part will go attached to the door, but this part will stay. Let's go see. I'm gonna take these onto the one side of the mini truck so you can see what it'll look like. Alright, so I just taped these on with some painter's tape, but that's the rear fender. I actually lowered the fender an extra inch, so this section here was only going to be about 2 inches to clear the hinges, but I'm going to have a little bit more. I lowered it another inch below the body line just to close that gap up a little bit. One thing to note, if you're going to do this, you will no longer be able to drop your bed down on the side. That's one of the reasons why I was debating on whether or not to do this. Right now, when I drop it down, my tires stick out quite a lot. So what happens is this will actually hit the tire, so it's not drivable anyway. So normally it's these bump stops here that hold the side beds or the side doors you know, they don't let it smash against the body. But in my case, it would hit the tire. So with these tires and the spacers, the pickup is not drivable with the sides down. But in all honesty, I've never had to drop those sides down other than to load stuff. But for my application, it's not important, but that might not be the case for some of you. So in any case, that's what the rear fender is going to look like. Obviously it'll be closer to the body because it'll be hollow. Right now it's sticking out because there's this little lip here. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little lip here that sticks out probably 3/8 to a ½ inch, and that's why that corrugate is not sitting flat. But once that's fiberglassed over, it's going to be hollow inside, so that's not going to do that. And I tried to match this shape here. As far as mounting this, I gotta figure out as I go. I might have a flap come into here and maybe some screws into there. Sorry about the wind noise, it's really picking up over here. And kind of the same deal here. Probably have a piece, a tab that will go in, overlay on top of this, and then I could just screw it to there or rivet. And then maybe I could also get a wider mud flap. I think that'll look cool. For the front, that's what we're looking at right now. I couldn't start too close to the front here because then when you open the door it'll hit the bumper, so you have to make sure you start far away. And again, these are just taped on, but that kind of follows the shape of the body. And there, these I might do the same thing where I have a tab that goes into here, and then I'll probably screw into that lip that's in there. And when you open the door, you know, you're gonna have this piece here, so I might have a little lip that could sit on here too, just to help it. I am hoping that I could put all these pieces on with just the 3M very high bond tape, and I don't actually have to screw anything. That's how car manufacturers put on spoilers nowadays. So I know it's very strong, but I don't know yet. We'll see. And then this will be the front fender. So, and then I don't know as far as painting what I'm gonna do, because it does cut into some of the paint work, but I might just carry the theme over and just paint them camo as well, instead of having it be one solid color, but we'll see when we get to that point. So that's basically the gist of it. And what I'm going to do is right now I'm going to continue covering these parts with packing tape before we could get down to applying the fiberglass resin.
Ryan Little.
Yoga.
Alright guys, I just did one of the side pods. I don't want to have you guys have to sit through all of the me taping these. I just wanted to do one piece on camera so you guys could see. It's a lot of work, very time consuming, and it's a pain in the butt. But you actually start getting frustrated and just start slapping the tape on, but you really want to put it on as cleanly as possible, so that even though this looks like steps, this will actually be all contoured. So right now that tape is stretched over these steps to create a soft contour. So I'm just gonna move on. What I think I might do is, because this is so time consuming and fiberglass has to cure, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start fiberglassing some of the pieces, and while that cures I could move on to putting the packing tape on the other components. So that's gonna be the plan from now on. Alright guys, so I got this red stretchy fabric. I'm gonna try to use this method where you actually stretch. I've seen it a lot in people that do boom boxes or Jesus, or I guess it's speaker housings, where they'll do like a MDF frame or a box section, and then they'll actually stretch this over whenever they want to do like contoured shapes, and then they just fiberglass over it. When the resin cures, this is basically the outer shell. So because I want to have a nice contoured shape to these fenders, I'm gonna try to use this. Now I don't know what fabric they use, and I don't know if this is the correct fabric, but I'm gonna give it a try, and you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I'm going to first of all, I don't have that much material. I'm gonna see if I can make this work for all the pieces, but it's gonna be a stretch. But let's go for it. Alright, so my hot melt gun wasn't working, so I tried tape. Tape doesn't stick to the fabric. I tried tape a few times. And then I found this box of push pins, so that's what I did. I just used push pins in the back. What I'm gonna do is, I mean, this is basically what you're trying to do. So you can still see some of the shadowing of the tape, some of the creases here, but again, that's one of the reasons why you should try to put that clear tape as smoothly as possible. But that's gonna be, this kind of gives you an idea of what the finished piece would look like. In any case, the glue gun is working now. I'm gonna try to do the next one with the hot melt glue. If that works, that's where I'm gonna go, and I might redo this one. But and the reason is, with the push pins, when I place this on the surface, it's going to be in the air like this, and I want it to be flat because I don't want the fiberglass to cure around it, because then I can't get the corrugated out of the fiberglass. So I'm going to try to do one with hot melt instead, but that's going to be the next try, I guess. the hot melt will really help things go along. So that's really the way to go with it. Get yourself a hot glue gun. And I do have, these corners are really tough. This one came out a little bit better, but you're always gonna get some wrinkles just because you have these you got a taper, and then you got basically 4 corners that need to meet somewhere. And even with the stretchy material, it's hard to get rid of all of the wrinkles. But in any case, I feel like that's close enough. And then if I have to sand it down, I can. The idea is to get the outside as smooth as possible through this process, and then reinforce the backside with fiberglass mat. So once we do that, we'll be able to sand away some of these wrinkles because we'll have material behind it to back it up. But so that's the first one. I'm gonna take apart the one with the push pins. Because it's already all stretched out, what I'm gonna do is just replace a push pin with hot melt as I go along, and hopefully that'll be a lot quicker. Alright, so I am having a lot of equipment failures today. The hot melt gun stopped working, so I am gonna have to, I just want to keep the project moving along, so I'm gonna just put I'm just gonna leave the one with the push pins the way it is, and keep my fingers crossed that I could take it off the mold when it's done. I'm just spraying some wax onto the this is just regular car wax onto this sheet of plastic. This is I believe high density polyethylene. It's very slick plastic, so I think it's kind of similar to what these containers are made out of. So even if fiberglass drips onto this, I'm hoping that I could just pop it off. So next I'm going to mix the resin and start brushing it onto these rear fenders. So I've got both rear fenders with the resin on it. So pros and cons to this material. Again, don't ask me what material it is. I have no idea. I'm assuming it's some sort of rayon material because it's very stretchy, but you know, your guess is as good as mine. In any case, the drawbacks to it is it doesn't soak up the resin right away. When you're dealing with like a fiberglass mat or cloth, you could definitely see when it's saturated right away because it changes color. It looks wet. This is kind of like you have to put a few. Basically, it takes a while for the resin to soak into the fibers. So that's the con. The pro obviously is the fact that it's stretchy. You could stretch it over a shape, and and you basically, I mean, I'm gonna have some wrinkles underneath, but that's gonna be hidden. And then I plan on just sanding those down and reinforcing once I reinforce it from the inside. But you know, now at first I thought I was just gonna do one part and see how that goes, but I'm hoping, I decided to do both. I'm hoping that when this cures, the result is what I expected, which is to have you know, basically a hard shell that I could reinforce from the inside. So I think I'm gonna leave this video here. I'm gonna end it right here, and I think in the next video I'm going to try to do just that, pry these off of the corrugated molds, or whatever you want to call them, bucks, and then reinforce the inside with some fiberglass mat, and then I guess move on to the other pieces as well. One thing I had to adjust how much resin I needed a few times, so I think once you do your first part, you kind of get a good feeling for how much resin you're gonna need, and then you could kind of use that as you move forward. But it's kind of a learning curve, so I'm hoping that the next parts go a lot smoother and faster. So thanks for watching, guys, and I think this is gonna be a cool project. I think a lot of people out there on YouTube have done stuff like this, but I don't think I've ever seen it on the mini truck. So hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for watching.
Ryan Little.